After a wave of financial scandals and billions lost, pressure is mounting in Jamaica's Senate to tighten financial regulations. On Friday, lawmakers passed key amendments to empower the Financial Services Commission, the FSC, targeting gaps that have left investors vulnerable. Ramon Gordon has more on the Senate's push for reform.
Following a series of high-profile financial scandals, including the multi-billion-dollar fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited (SSL), calls are growing within Jamaica's Senate to modernize financial oversight laws. On Friday, the Senate passed critical amendments to the Financial Services Commission Act (FSCA), equipping the FSC with expanded powers.
President, the financial crisis experienced by Jamaica in the 1990s highlighted the significant risks that financial groups can pose to the growth and stability of both global and local economies. The promulgation of the Financial Services Commission Amendment Act of 2024 will allow Jamaica to have another regulatory tool to enhance financial sector stability and offer a greater level of protection for financial consumers.
The amendments give the FSC stronger powers to oversee non-deposit-taking institutions and financial holding companies like SSL, aiming to close the regulatory gap that left consumers at risk. Over a year ago, fraud at SSL cost big-name clients and regular investors millions, exposing serious oversight weaknesses. It's why Government Senator Ransford Braham is strident in saying that Jamaica's courts often can't keep up with the fast-paced financial sector.
If we understand the courts, it is not designed, Mr. President, to respond to that type of industry, at least initially. You bring before me financial information, economics matters, accounting, all of which I am unfamiliar with, then I will tend to default to those who I have good faith and faith in to rely upon them. And unless you can show a glaring disobedience of the legislation, it hardly deals with substantial issues.
At SSL, 200 accounts were affected with losses exceeding $3 billion. The company is advancing plans to disburse over $30 million to clients affected by the fraud, with the FSC closely monitoring. Meanwhile, opposition Senator Dr. Floyd Morris also voiced support for the bill, acknowledging that Jamaica's outdated financial laws left consumers vulnerable.
And that is a matter that the government will have to deal with post-haste. I hope they would have had, or the minister would have left a series of these legislation that the government would deal with in very short order.
In other Senate news, Senator Gabriella Morris plans to push for the swift implementation of the school nutrition policy to combat rising NCD and child obesity rates. Her motion calls for the finalizing of the policy this academic year, banning unhealthy food in schools, promoting local meals, and including youth in oversight. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.